do a lot of work on supply chains, and particularly in forced labor and supply chains. And we've had a campaign, by we I mean working with our members who are institutional investors, really on this issue of worker paid fees and supply chains, and working with a bunch of civil society groups have gotten over 100 companies to make commitments in the apparel, footwear sector, electronic sector, food and agriculture to commit to three pillars. One is no worker paid fees. So what happens is that workers end up paying fees to recruiters, and then they arrive at the factory and they have to pay off those fees, and their documents are confiscated, and it creates situations of forced labor. So the pledges are no worker paid fees, employers paid fees only, no document retention, and contracts in the names of those workers in the home language of those workers. And so over 100 companies in those sectors have made those commitments, and now the hard work of being at the table and making sure that they implement those commitments, and that's a work in progress. That's one example. Another is around opioid accountability, where ICCR members and allies got together as result of the opioid epidemic, and really began pushing manufacturers, distributors, and retail pharmacies on governance accountability for what happened in the opioid mess, and really got some pretty significant governance changes around how boards are assessing these types of risks, around splitting the chairs and the CEO, around misconduct, clawback policies, and in other areas. So that focus was on governance. I'll give one other example, and happy to go into some more later if that's helpful. Worker health and safety, we do a lot of engagement in that area, and that's a big area for investors right now. More recently, with the dollar stores, there's been a lot of engagement and working very closely with civil society partners. We got a big vote at Dollar General, and they published a report on worker safety, and that's an ongoing effort in a bunch of sectors where there's a lot of low-wage workers, particularly the restaurant and retail sectors, and now the gig sector, to get companies to issue work health and safety audits, and then to use those audits to engage with them to make significant changes with a focus on risk to companies, but also the impact on